How's it going? I guess we're not gonna blast the radio on like I usually do. Had some things I wanted to think about, and I felt like I wanted to say them, but I didn't know how. Or it took me all day to figure out how to say it. On top of that, I'm a little sick, so it's also something I should be acutely aware of. I had a pretty bad cold last couple of days. It's probably why I haven't done much. Feeling miserable does that to you. But feeling better now. Scrape the front plate there. Oh well. So I suppose I wanted to talk about, well, I've noticed a lot of musicians on YouTube were complaining about, well, they weren't complaining, but they were basically talking about AI improving its quality to the point where it's almost indistinguishable, and I don't buy that. I think, as somebody who has used it, the technology, I really feel like it's not going to do anything more than shake up the industry for people who do it for the sole purpose of making money. People who make music for the sole purpose of making money, they were always going to get out of it first. They were never going to stick around longer than necessary to make money. Somebody like me who makes it for the sake of making music for enjoyment as a hobby, it doesn't bother me at all, like at all. I don't give a shit that people use AI. I mean, like, I give a shit in the sense that, oh, it destroys the whole notion of people being the creative ones to make stuff. But at some point, it's also like, hey, really ought to just understand that the more this bullshit gets crammed down people's throats, the more they resist and they don't like it, just because of the fact that it is AI. You're not going to get the result you want out of it, which is mass adoption. Nobody's going to adopt it if they don't like it. So that's first thing that was on my mind. I think a lot of people are concerned that the idea of human experience is being muddied about with by the use of AI tools and generative AI. But you got to remember, this stuff is basically just regurgitating information it's been fed. It doesn't have any original ideas on its own. Even with music. And this is one part of the argument I thought was fucking dumb. With some of these guys complaining that AI is here to stay. They're saying, well, it's all just regurgitation of information, and that's kind of what musicians do. Fuck you. It's not what we do. Because a lot of the stuff that we do create is inspired, not stolen. I know the whole joke is good artists borrow, great artists steal, but in reality, it's all inspiration. I don't believe an AI has the capacity of being inspired yet. An AI is not inspired by anything. It might say that it's inspired, but it's only doing that because you've asked it to be inspired. If you ask an AI straight up, are you capable of inspiration? They will say, no, due to my limitations, I'm not capable of inspiration. But I am capable of providing you with useful information that may help you become inspired in something. That's literally all it's going to do. So a music bot is not going to be inspired to create something influenced by something. This is why, I cannot get behind the idea that AI music's here to stay, because there's no way it's going to be here to stay. Yeah, it's dumb. It's a dumb cop-out for people to basically say, like, hey, I'll put it like this. It's a really interesting way for people who are in a competitive market to try and undercut people who may have, self-esteem issues about their hobby, and to cut them out of the market so that they can capitalize on that. The whole argument of like, if you doom and gloom your way to success, then you've basically undercut 15 people to get there. You've undercut a whole bunch of people just to get to where you are, because you've basically made them feel very uneasy about the work they do. I don't think that's very, it's a very disingenuous thing to do, and I think a lot of people do it more than they think they do, just by the notion of bringing up information like that, or bringing up a topic and discussing it in that manner. I genuinely believe that these people in the industry are not here to collaborate, and they're certainly not here to make friends or to network. I have had many experiences with people in the music industry who are probably at the same level of competency and the same level of exposure as I am right now. So indie musicians who are like, they've probably gotten a couple of live shows done under their belt. Maybe a festival here or there, a couple of hours of a live set. But they all kind of regurgitate the same bullshit. And it kind of appears to me, in my mind, that these people are only here for money, because they start talking about like, oh, well, I need to sell this many records, otherwise, I can't do this, this, that, and the other thing. It's like, no, you can still do it. You just have to dig into your own pockets to get it, rather than the finances of your hobby to get you there. And I think that's a very significant distinction between musicians as a hobby and musicians as somebody who wants to make a career out of it. There are people who are solely in it for the purpose of making money. They're only in it just because they feel like that's what they're good at. They don't care much about the idea of creating an idea of a world or being inspired by other musicians to create something. No, they're there to collect a paycheck, and they're there to push a product, and the product is them, and you are the sucker. You're the mark that they're selling to, because they think that you're such a dumb motherfucker that you're willing to spend $85, $90 for a special edition fucking, plushie of a character that they created. Right? You've seen it. Whereas I don't believe that asking somebody, hey, if I made a USB, a USB drive that has my album on it, and it's special made, I special ordered it, and I'm telling you how much it cost me to make this and how much I'm expecting for profit. If I divulge this information to you, this might turn some people off, but I know for a fact that the people that will buy it are genuinely interested in supporting me. I don't like the idea that when I have to sell something, I have to keep it a secret as to how much I paid to get it marketed. I'm not going to do that, and I think people that do that are extremely disingenuous. I think a lack of transparency is what kills a lot of motivation to support musicians, especially indie musicians. Because for some reason, indie musicians have this understanding that, I need to maintain a sense of mystique and mystery with what I do. I mean, yes, to an extent, if I'm trying to exercise myself as a persona, if I'm trying to express myself as a certain character, like I do with my persona, I feel like it's important to have barriers, yes. But I'm not going to fucking put barriers over the amounts of money that I've made and spent, because you're entitled to that. You're entitled to that as a consumer, as a listener, as a fan. I have divulged this information multiple times. Hey, I spent upwards of $2,400 just to get my hobby off the ground. That's with instruments, that's with software, that's with freaking DAW patches, and that's with you know, expenses for the USB album, like the CD, like the album cases, the printing, the artworks. You know, that's all contributed together. That's $2,400. And I have not made a profit. I could say that much. I could say I have not made a profit. As a matter of fact, I haven't made half of what I've spent. But that's okay. Because I'm in it for the hobby. I'm in it for the enjoyment. To say I've done it. I am a published musician. I'm a composer. I had my shit featured in a game, which is pretty much a bucket list thing for most musicians that I know of, to have their music put in a video game. And to hear people be very excited to hear that thing, you know, to hear this music is so heartwarming. I'm actually genuinely like astounded every time somebody compliments me, because there's no way that this is happening in my fucking life right now. There's no way. I have grown up being nothing but a black sheep in my entire life with little attention given to me. So the minute that I decide I'm going to follow my dream and be a musician, there's a response there. There's somebody saying, hey, it sounds cool. I like the way it sounds. Keep it up. That's fucking astounding to me. And that's honestly all I'm here for. I'm just here to entertain you. I'm just here so that we can share this magical journey called music creation together, with composition. And yet you will have people who are at the same level as I am, pissed off that they didn't sell enough merch. Are you kidding me? You're pissed off because you didn't sell enough merch? That's how it works, man. As a musician, you're going to be down more than you're up. That's fucking famine, bro. That's just how it is. I genuinely don't understand these people, because they full on admit that they're not here to enjoy sharing music with other people. They're here to make a fucking profit. They see it as a business, a full-on business, not an experience that we can share that I might make some money off of in the long run. In all things considered, I've made money doing this. I've made money doing it, but it's not like I've made, you know, so much that all of a sudden I can just stop worrying about going to work. No, I still got a full-time job. I still got to fucking, you know, take care of you know, family and shit. I still do that because I'm obligated to do that. And just because I'm following my fucking passion of being a musician doesn't mean I have to abandon that. And that's another thing that I fucking hate with people, especially at my goddamn level of experience and exposure. Is there are dudes who are literally like, yo, I've been fucking sleeping around. What the fuck are you doing, dude? Sleeping around. What are you doing sleeping around? You got more important shit to do. Stop sticking your dick in people and start fucking working on music, dickhead. 90% of people's problems comes from the fact that they have zero impulse control. And I think 90% of musicians' problems come from the fact that not only do they have no impulse control, they have no emotional control. And they literally lock on. They lock into one fucking aspect of their career, and they literally treat it as do or die. So it comes to money, it comes to women, and fucking influence. Oh wow, all of a sudden, if I'm not getting the same reaction that, you know, I got a year ago, I fucking fell off. And no, bitch, you fucking dumb. I don't understand this. I don't understand how people live their lives with this freaking aspect in their minds that they have to be a certain way. They have to aspire to be perfect in every single way, shape, and form. That they can only make money and they can't have fun. That this is serious business. Motherfucker, do you realize musicians have always been treated as the lowest caste of people in society? Like ever since the Greeks. You know how musicians avoided getting killed? They fucking sold out. Musicians avoided getting killed when they were in foreign countries by singing songs about how terrible their own country was. I can tell you right now, though, but the modern day aspect of selling out does not appeal to me. I don't like the idea of being owned by a record company. So I think I'll always be indie. I'll always be, an underground artist. And I'm okay with that because honestly, I think most artists have this vanity about them that says that they need to be the best and they need to be well known by everybody. And I feel like that's not true. I feel like a lot of musicians that I've met in my life were great musicians and they were accomplished and they did great stuff. But they were also extremely humble. And I think the differences between somebody who is at the top of their level as a musician and somebody like me or somebody who is accomplished a bit more than me, it comes down to the point that what people call ambition in the music industry is just cold-blooded, cutthroat behavior. Like, at no point have I ever heard anything about a musician that was nothing but a genuinely good person making it huge. There's always some sort of kernel of dickishness that gets them to where they are. Either taking advantage of somebody or doing something to the effect of, like, literally surrendering all of their worldly obligations and possessions to focus solely on music. Like, I'm divorcing my first wife because I want to be a musician. I'm, relinquishing parental custodianship of my children because I want to be a musician. That's the fucking craziest shit I've ever heard, and you're a fucking idiot for doing it. Because 20 years down the line, after you've made it big and you fell the fuck off, all of a sudden, you're going to have to work your ass off to rebuild all the relationships and all the bridges you burned. Just so you could have some semblance of a life. Because now the paycheck stopped coming in and now you ain't got nothing going for yourself. Imagine how fucking dumb you are thinking that way. I've never understood that, man. So yeah, when I've met musicians basically that have focused entirely on money, and I don't like them. I don't like the idea that AI is going to take over. I don't like it, and I don't believe it's going to happen in the way that a lot of people imagine it to be. As a matter of fact, I think when people go to like places like Chili's or Applebee's and they hear AI music being played above them, that's the only use that it's going to be used for besides advertisements. You know why? Nobody gives a shit about advertisements nobody gives a shit about jingles anymore. Nobody makes jingles. You know why? Because nobody pays the fuck attention. They're too busy with other shit. When's the last time you heard a good jingle that wasn't made, that was made a couple years ago? And you can't say, well, I just heard this jingle, so you're wrong. No, I can guarantee you, a lot of the jingles that you hear now are just the same jingles they've used from like the 1950s, or when they first started as a company. Like, it's never changed. The only thing that's changed now is the fact that you've got to fucking, update it for modern times, which I fucking hate that too. I fucking hate modern interpretations of old songs. It's one thing to do a cover of a song that you like, and it's your own personal interpretation. It's got a different flair and different music, but it is the same song at the heart of it. And it's another thing when you do it just to fucking say, oh, well, I did a cover and this will get me radio play. Go fuck yourself. I fucking hate you. I'll say it right now. Hate's a strong word, and I fucking hate people that do that. And there's way too many motherfuckers comfortable doing shit like that. That's what I found out. That's what I found out overall. Just overall. There are way too many people who are comfortable being disgusting, dirty little cutthroats that would rather step on you on the way to success, that would pass right by you if you were on fire without helping. Not because they hate you, but because they see you as a threat to their potential income. Because they had no, skills to fall back on. Because all I've ever done is strum the guitar, man. I'm all about peace and love, but don't you dare fucking get in the way of me and my goddamn paycheck. Fuck off. It's people like that that make me genuinely disgusted. I'm very glad that I have you folks to keep me grounded. Because God help me if it wasn't the case.